All right, welcome back. Welcome back to another Bostonian Reviews, and this will be a Bostonian Reviews artificial intelligence, as little as I know about it. Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've read a ton of books on it. You can watch my film, Invasion, which I'll leave a link down to the other page below this video. So if you're welcome to watch that, you're welcome to watch The Signal. I mean, I'm certainly interested in I wouldn't say technology as much as I'm interested in just reality and what influences technology does have over reality and psychology, mental states, behavior, stuff like that. So as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, we do seem to have, I wouldn't say mixed messaging, but there's just different messages. I mean, number one, we have, a history of kind of like Hollywood narrative that tells us that this is not the right way to go. And certainly when you see, Tesla robots walking around and stuff like that, I don't think anyone is really filled with this great kind of like optimistic feeling necessarily, even though, it could be, a great infrastructure, maybe, if we're able to handle this correctly. I think that people just understand that there is, kind of capitalist, and I'm not an anti-capitalist by any means, but the capitalist motivation behind this stuff, sometimes we might not take a pause to see if this is kind of the way that we want to go as far as the future is concerned, because we feel that someone else will just get to it first and be able to make the money. So it's not that it's like necessarily profit driven or anything like that, even though certainly it is. But what I'm saying is it's just the capitalist system itself, inspires this kind of blind approach to things sometimes, because again, I think the fear is that if I don't get to it, somebody else will, and everyone always thinks they're the better person and they're the ones who should be in control of it and stuff like that. So that's certainly one thing, and a lot of the people who are promoting artificial intelligence are, by the way, also looking for continuing to build their investor portfolio. So certainly they're not going to say, oh man, this is terrible, we haven't figured it out, this is terrible for humanity. They're really promoting it and getting people excited about it. Number one, because I think there's a genuine excitement, but number two, it's because they need to get more investments and build these data centers and stuff like that. Certainly they've got the government behind them at this point, because we are kind of pushing this nation to nation fear, I guess you could say, where it's there's almost like a Cold War, a competition between nations like us, the United States and China and stuff like that. So we have the positive messaging and also this kind of fear mongering behind pushing artificial intelligence, that if not only within the country, if we don't get to it first, someone else will, but also, providing external threats for this technology and stuff like that. So, and then the other interesting messaging behind it, and this is coming from like, mainstream outlets and stuff like that, is, it's going to take everybody's job. So, I mean, what does that really do psychologically to people when they keep hearing the message that their job is going to be irrelevant, they're going to be irrelevant because these things are just so much smarter? We're really not taking the opportunity at this point to really kind of think about what we think is special about humanity and being a human, and I believe I understand why a little bit. But it's not like, oh, they're going to take all the jobs, they're much smarter than us, they're going to take over, stuff like that. Certainly isn't doing great for morale for the human race. And let me just explain that real quick. I think there's an inherent like shame to the human being, and we kind of have evidence with that, which how much we cover up. And so let's say even deodorant for an example. Well, we can't even like really, I don't want to say take. We really can't even well, let's just say, for the sake of lack of a better word, we can't even take the scent of ourselves in a natural way. We have to kind of like cover it up. And to me, that just means that number one, we're not really good at accepting reality as is. And I understand that some people will be like, what the fuck is he talking about like deodorant for? Because we're so used to these kind of things like cologne, deodorant, stuff like that, we don't really question it. Now, something like, well, I'm not going to get into that, but we cover up a lot of what is natural about us, and so to me that is evidence of this kind of inherent shame. And if everybody has that, which I think they do, because I think that in a Nietzschean sense, it's very correct that people, I wouldn't even say lust for power as much as they just go after power because they need to feel fulfilled and like they have dignity and identity and stuff like that. So, but I think there's probably, the drive for power is probably motivated by this kind of, shame that I'm talking about as far as, kind of covering up our own humanity, kind of being almost embarrassed about it in a sense. And I hope that's translating as far as what I'm talking about. But so if you have people who are also developing these machines that way, way, way underneath, they have the same kind of shame that I'm talking about, and it can be subconscious or unconscious shame. Again, it's represented by, I think, very simple things that we can't even kind of accept our own body odor. We have to like cover it up. So if the same shame is also making these machines, then I can understand why there is a kind of lack of empathy when it comes to creating these things, because there's an almost inherent like dislike for almost being human in a sense. You know what I mean? So that's one of my opinions on building these AIs. The other opinion is, and one of some of the messaging that's going on is the fact that it's almost like you can't change it. This is inevitable, and I don't agree with that. I mean, we consent to reality, so just letting it kind of steamroll everybody and just letting it steamroll us, I mean, that's not an acceptable kind of opinion. We are aware that these things are being built. Like, certainly there's a lot of money behind it with the data centers and stuff like that. None of us really know exactly where this is going. It could be really good, it could be really bad. So I think people are a bit hesitant to like really, make a stand, as am I. Like, I kind of want to see a little bit of how we're going to use this. But I also think that we're being a little bit distracted about the real use cases of artificial intelligence, which is systems. Right now, we're kind of getting like these kind of flashy, and for good reason, because they become popular. Let's say the AI generated videos and images and stuff like that are much more popular than explaining how DoorDash is going to, incorporate AI systems into, choosing, which delivery driver, gets a particular meal for a customer or something like that. But it's the systems that I think that we really have to be, kind of careful of, and watch a little bit more in a more focused way, just because that will tell us a little bit more than some stupid like short film that's done on AI generated stuff. Like it doesn't really matter. I mean, the real reality is going to be influenced by how systems are developed. So right now, I mean, obviously the population has agents and stuff like that to enhance their small business or whatever kind of business oriented things that they're doing, or app development or what have you. But there's just a few conversations about how AI is going to influence just systems in general, and that's from every institution down to what conversations you're going to be having on the phone and stuff like that. So that's definitely, I think, something to watch out for sure. Again, I think that our perspective on humanity is already kind of in the shitter, so I'd be careful about, you know, what we're using to develop these machines. And what I mean by that is, what do we actually think of, the human race and being human, period, and how is that influencing the machines that we're developing and stuff like that. And then the third one would be just to really take stock of what the messaging is behind this, because again, just saying that it's better than human beings and it's smarter than human beings and it's going to take everybody's job, why is that messaging so demoralizing? Like, what stage is being set for that kind of stuff? I just don't understand it. And by the way, I don't listen to it. The fact of the matter is, artificial intelligence, at least at this point, has been developed by the hive mind. So it's been developed by an extraordinary amount of data collection, and it's been developed by the hive mind, which is the contribution of human beings. So yes, it's able to extract this information a lot quicker than the human brain, but they're being trained on people who have taken the work and put in the labor for these PhD documents and these scientific studies and the scripts that have been written in Hollywood and stuff, and the plays that have been written and all this stuff. So it's already, yes, it's a bit quicker in extracting all the information, but it's the human beings that contributed to this, in a collective effort. So remembering that as well. So right now I give artificial intelligence a 7.1.